business, and spirituality. On this show, I like to transfer energy on a spiritual level. Wavelengths, frequencies, auras, and fundamentally through the chakras. Each and every single living organism has a chakra system in which spiritual energy travels through and around it each and every day. I'm Indigo, a walking, breathing, living representation of the third eye in the flesh. And here on the new season of Chakras, the spirit of Indigo, we plan to embark on many topics that are going to allow you to experience ascension and enlightenment on a whole new level. Welcome back to Chakras, the spirit of Indigo, where we plan to embark on many topics that are going to allow you to experience ascension and enlightenment on a whole new level. Now, on this new episode, we're going to be talking about astrology, all right? This is a very passion of mine. I really love astrology, and I'm glad I get to bring it to the forefront when it comes down to spirituality and through the Indigo management movement, all right? Now, today we're going to be discussing the 12 Zodiacs, all right, and a little brief discussion on each one of them. Not to mention the Cardinal, fixed, and mutable signs of each Zodiac. And the last thing we're going to do is go over the seasons in which all of the Zodiacs correspond to, all right? So you can get a little bit better perspective on who you truly are based on the seasons, all right? Now, the first thing we're going to do is go over the 12 Zodiacs, all right? The first thing I write down is Aries, because Aries is the beginning in the spring. This is the true beginning of the year. So Aries is the sign of the warrior or the pioneer. The ruler is Mars. The gems that correspond with it are going to be amethyst and diamond. The color is red. The metal is going to be iron. The harmonious signs for business, marriage, and companionship for Aries is going to be Sagittarius and Leos, all right? Now, the next sign is Taurus, the sign of the builder or the producer, and the ruler is Venus. The gems are moss, agate, and emerald. Not to mention the color is blue and pink. The metal is going to be copper. The harmonious signs for business, marriage, and companionship are going to be Capricorns, Virgos, and Cancers, all right? The next sign is Gemini. That's going to end up the spring season. It's going to be the sign of the artist or the inventor, all right? The ruler of Gemini is going to be Mercury. The gems are going to be beryl and aquamarine. The colors are going to be yellow. The metal is going to be quicksilver. The harmonious signs for business, marriage, and companionship for Geminis are going to be Aquariuses and Libras, all right? Now, as we go over to the next quadrant, which is going to be the summertime and the summer months, the next sign is going to be Cancer, the sign of the prophet or teacher. The ruler is going to be the moon. The gems associated with Cancer are going to be moss, agate, and not to mention emerald again. The color is violet. The metal is going to be silver. The harmonious signs for business, marriage, and companionship are going to be Pisces, Scorpio, and not to mention Taurus, all right? The next summer month is going to be Leo, the sign of the king or president, all right? The ruler is going to be the sun. The gems are going to be ruby and diamond. The color is going to be orange. The metal associated with Leo is going to be gold. The harmonious signs for business, marriage, and companionships are going to be Sagittarius and Aries, all right? The next sign, which is one I love, the Virgo, the sign of the craftsman or critic. The ruler is going to be Mercury. The gems are going to be pink jasper and hyacinth. The color is going to be gray or navy blue. The metal associated with Virgo is going to be quicksilver. And the harmonious signs for business, marriage, and companionship are going to be Capricorns and Tauruses, all right? Now, that was the end of the summer months. If we go into the fall, we have the Libra, all right? The sign of the statesman or the manager. The ruler is going to be Venus. The gems are going to be diamond or opal, all right? The color associated with the Libra is going to be indigo blue. The metal is going to be copper, and the harmonious signs for business, marriage, and companionship are going to be Aquariuses and Geminis, all right? The next fall sign is going to be the Scorpio, the sign of the governor or the, inspector. I'm sorry, I can't read my own handwriting sometimes. The sign of the governor or inspector, all right? The ruler is going to be Mars. The gems are going to be topaz and malachite. The color is going to be a deep red. The, excuse me, the metal is going to be steel, and the harmonious signs for business, marriage, and companionship are going to be Cancers and Pisces, all right? The last sign to end up the fall month is going to be Sagittarius. The Sagittarius are the sign of the sage or the counselor, all right? Its ruler is going to be Jupiter. The gems are going to be carbuncle and turquoise, all right? The color is going to be light blue associated with Sagittarius. The metal is going to be tin. And the harmonious signs for business, marriage, and companionship are going to be Aries, Leo, and other Sagittarius. Who knew? The sign that's going to start off the winter months is going to be Capricorn. Capricorn is the sign of the priest, the ambassador, or the scientist. The gems associated with Capricorn are going to be white onyx, and not to mention, what's that? The moonstone, all right? Makes sense. The color is going to be green. The metal is going to be lead on the periodic table, and the harmonious signs for business, marriage, and companionship are going to be Taurus, Virgo, and Libras, all right? The next zodiac sign is going to be Aquarius in the winter month, and that's the sign of the truth seeker or the scientist. The ruler is going to be Uranus. The gems are going to be sapphire and opal. The color associated with Aquarius is going to be electric blue. The metal from the periodic table is going to be uranium. And the harmonious signs for business, marriage, and companionship are going to be Libras, Geminis, and Aries, all right? And the last sign to end up the winter month, all right, and bringing about the new change is going to be Pisces. This is the sign of the poet or the interpreter, all right? Its ruler is going to be Neptune. The gems are going to be chrysolite or the moonstone. The color is going to be sea green. The metal associated with Pisces is going to be tin, and the harmonious signs for business, marriage, and companionship are going to be Cancer, Scorpio, and Virgo, all right? Now, that was definitely the 12 brief zodiacs, the 12 zodiacs and a brief overview of who you are and what you can come to grips with, all right? The next thing we're going to talk about is going to be the fixed, cardinal, and mutable signs, all right? So if we get this one out of here, this is going to be the cardinal signs here in red: Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, all right? What do they mean by cardinal signs, all right? Now, the cardinal signs are the signs that begin each season, all right? These are the trendsetters, and they pretty much have the idea and plan in motion, and they know what to do, all right? These are your idea people. The next one is going to be the fixed signs, which include Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. With these fixed signs, these are the signs that are the stabilizers, all right? They get the ideas from the cardinal signs, and they keep that thing going and pumping, all right? The fixed signs are very, very much so like water. They flow, all right? Next, we have the mutable signs. And the mutable signs are going to be Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. Now, what do we mean by mutable signs, all right? The mutable signs are the ones who end the seasons and they have endured all the hardships from the seasons before it, all right? They go through the change, all right? And they switch you over and go back to the cardinal signs, all right? So I'm a mutable sign. I can see where I fall into that category as well. Make sure you go out there and know what you are, all right? That way you can start flowing a little bit better in life based off of your zodiac and the stars above, all right? Now, that was going to be the cardinals, fixed, and mutable signs. Now, let's talk about the seasons and how they correspond with all of the zodiacs. Now, as we go to springtime, the time that we're in right now, it's going to be Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. Now, as you can see as well from the last slide that I just showed you, this is a mixture of cardinal, fixed, and mutable signs, all right? The Aries are the cardinal signs. They begin the ideas. The Taurus are the next, which is going to be the fixed signs. And the mutable sign, which is going to end up the season, is the Gemini, all right? Going further with the summertime zodiacs is going to be Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. Once again, another cardinal, fixed, then mutable sign, all right? Going to the fall time, we have Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. And to end up the winter time, we have Capricorn, Aquarius, and not to mention Pisces, all right? I love going through the seasons and to figure out which people to be around during certain times of the year. That's a fun thing to do with the zodiacs. I guarantee you, you're going to enjoy that. I'm a Virgo myself, and what I do is like hanging around Cancers because my moon sign is Cancer. And not to mention, once you find out your moon sign, your ascending sign, and your descending sign, then you really begin to get in the ball game and begin to know who to hang around, how to maneuver around certain people. It's like a personality test, you know, that you were born with at birth, all right? This is how special each and every one of you are, because you're zodiac, all right? No one else was born at the exact same second, minute, hour, day, week, month, year under this zodiac, all right? At the location you were born, all right? That's what makes each and every one of you special. And I love telling my people that because most people don't know that they are special. A lot of people think that they're less than. And when I bring up that topic on who they are based off of the stars, then they begin to get that glimmer of hope right back into that spirit that God gave them, all right? Now, we're going to take a quick commercial break. I know there was a lot to take in through with the zodiacs and the cardinal, mix, mutable, and the 4 seasons. But when we come back, I have the weekly spiritual insight. Great afternoon, content creators. I'm Indigo. Welcome back to day 15 where we're talking about presentation, all right? I love wearing my crown. It is what it is. You know we kings and queens. But today, I want to present this book specifically because I think that this will help a lot of us when it comes down to what our purpose is in life, how we want to get to our purpose as well, because it's all about the process in life. A lot of people don't understand that, but listen, life is a process. Going to school is a process. Growing up is a process. Raising kids is a process. Actually self-transforming yourself is a process. You know, school is a process. All these things, all these processes in life. And it's taught me that we have to embrace the journey. And if you really want to be honest, the more you keep your mind on the end game, the more you begin to appreciate the journey. Because it's almost as if there is no destination in the beginning when you start this knowledge of critical thinking and being on the journey and appreciating the journey. But I've really appreciated this journey, and I know now where I want to go. But this book with Ken Coleman, if you don't know who he is, he's a Dave Ramsey personality, talks about the proximity principle. Being in the place where what you want to do is happening around the people who are doing what you want to do. All right? That's what the proximity principle is. And it breaks it down into a
a couple of chapters as well. Or I'm sorry, into three parts. The first chapters begin with the people, the professors, the professionals, the mentors, the peers, and the producers. Now you have 5 different types of mentors in your life, and those are the type that they tell you to be around. This is another reason I advocate this book, because a lot of people fail to seek help, as if somebody hasn't already went through the same problems you're going through in your business, in your life, emotionally, anything that's going on in your life, somebody else has done it. So this is the reason that mentors are so important in our life, all right? So make sure you go out there and get you some professional help on all levels so you can get to the next level, all right? So this is the proximity principle, King Coleman. I'm gonna put this link in the description so you can go out there and get your copy. I'm telling you, you need this book right now, all right? I'm Indigo. Thank y'all so much for watching. That was my day 15 challenge. I love doing these challenges. I was telling my roommate earlier, listen, this program allows us to edit a video all the time, every day. And if you get into the habit of editing a video every day, shooting a video every day, something's gonna happen with that. I think a lot of stuff is gonna begin to build, all right? So make sure you stay consistent. I know I've been uploading 2 or 3 videos at one time. I just got done doing a lot more editing with my new season of Chakras, the Spirit of Indigo. So that's gonna be up. I'm gonna let y'all look at it first, all right? And then I'm gonna put it up on my YouTube channel. But with that being said, yeah, keep putting this content out. Keep editing videos every day. That's how we get better. That's what this class is trying to teach us, all right? So I'm Indigo. I'm gonna see y'all at the next challenge. Make sure you hit me up on the website. You know what time it is, www.indigokid87.com, all right? Where we out here practicing group economics all 2021. I'm Indigo. I'm gonna see you later. Intuition, creativity, and imagination. Namaste.
Welcome back to Chakras, the Spirit of Indigo, where we're planning to embark on so many new topics to help you reach that experience and enlightenment that you've been searching for, okay? Now, this segment is going to be called the Weekly Spiritual Insight, all right? And this week on the Weekly Spiritual Insight, the topic is astrology. Now, how can we put this in flesh mentality and make it practical for you? That way you can gain insight. I want you to go out there and find out what your sun sign is, or star sign, depending on how you look at it, your moon sign, and not to mention your ascending and descending sign, all right? Now, I'll put it into some flesh mentality for you. I am a Virgo, born in September 17th to be specific. Right there, almost on the cusp, 3 or 4 days before the Libra constellation comes into fruition, all right? But, so my sun or my star sign is Virgo. Now, how do you find your moon sign? You can do this online. They have what they call a moon calculator. But in order to find your moon sign on the moon calculator, you're going to have to know the location on where you're built, like in the region, whether it's Central, Eastern Standard Time Zone, Mountain, or Pacific. You're also going to have to know the specific time. I was born at 3:03 a.m. These things are important so they can find out where the star or the constellation was at the time of your birth, all right? That's pretty much all you're gonna need, because once you have the time and the regional, or the geographical location on where you were born, you can find your moon sign, all right? Once you find those two, you can plug them in and get your ascending sign and your descending sign. Now, my moon sign is going to be a Cancer. Isn't that funny? Still in the summertime, all right? My ascending sign is going to be a Leo. Funny, huh? All in the same quadrant. So my sun or star sign is Virgo, my moon sign is Cancer, my ascending sign is Leo, and I did calculate my descending sign as well, and it is going to be Aquarius, all right? Funny how my descending sign goes straight down to the winter months, all right? But go out there and find what you are, all right? That's the challenge on this weekly spiritual insight, so you can start learning a little bit more about who you are, where you come from, and what your purpose is here in this life, all right? We're about to get ready to take one more commercial break, but stay tuned, because when we come back, I have the message of the day. Great afternoon, content creators. I'm Indigo. Thank you once again for joining me for what's this day? Oh my God, day 16, all right? We're delivering our story. And with that being said, I want to start off from the beginning. No, I'm just saying, we're not going to start from the beginning. But I do want to say how I started on my journey of where we're going right now as far as with the Indigo management, the Indigo kid, the videography as well with Indigo images. Such a great story, and in fact, it didn't begin until I came up here to Omaha, Nebraska, where I'm staying at currently, all right? But I'm born and raised in Alabama, a small town called Roanoke. Education's also in Alabama and in the state capital of Montgomery. A friend of mine who I played football with when I was in college had already moved up here to the great state of Nebraska, Omaha, which has been rated the #1 place to raise a family. I like that. The economy is also #1 in America. Unemployment rate's also the lowest in America. So I'm like, this is a great place to go to, all right? So for the most part, I've been up here for 5 years now, and I was already on my yoga stuff. I was already being spiritual, but there was no place really to actually transfer it to or to drive all my traffic to and place information on. So when I came up here, my friend had already started a clothing brand, Skeletons in Your Closet. And I was like, that's so cool. I should start one too. And it just led to me getting an LLC, and 5 years later, this is what you see, all right? Indigo Management, which is my LLC name, and under that I have Indigo Images, which is going to be my videography/photography company, not to mention Indigo Kid, the clothing brand, in which conscious streetwear for the enlightened is what I've called it, all right? So I really appreciate this journey as well. I've met also, which I excluded, was a CEO of a record label company. That's where I even began videography here. So having a subject like an artist to actually tour around the country with had a lot to do with my experience level. So I really appreciate everything that I have learned thus far from this state of Nebraska. So it's been a great journey for 5 years. I'm 33 years old. I'll be 34 this year. I can't wait. Be a king. But a lot of great things to come. I want y'all to keep creating content. I hope I told my story for the most part as where it is. But if I had to say where it was going as far as the end game, I want to give my clothing away to the kids. Because if I bring over, I'll actually post it in the video. It's what Indigo Kids stands for. And I think the kids need to know who they are from a young age. I think we all can agree that there's some form of miseducation in America when it comes down to health and wealth, as well as the spiritual realm and who we truly are, where we come from. Those types of things should be made more readily accessible to kids at a young age and talked about as well. But with that being said, I want to give away my clothing brand, clothing to the kids, all right, of all ages, and just tour the entire world. There's no reason not to tour the world. The world belongs to all of us, all right? So you need to go out there and get that passport. I do have mine. I've had it for like 4 or 5 years now. Trinidad and Tobago, that was the first place I went on my, as I went out the country. Totally blew my mind. I have to go out of the country again. All right, so with that being said, traveling is important. Starting wherever you're at when it comes down to your journey, because remember, I just started out with the clothing brand, but now I have all this stuff to go along with it. And for the most part, stay dedicated. That's what I advocate a lot when it comes down to Indigo management, all right? So I'm not gonna bore you to death, because I would much rather show you everything that I got coming as opposed to telling you and running the story, all right? So thank y'all so much for listening to me rant, or at least talk. I love to do that. I'm Indigo. I'm gonna see you next week. I should say tomorrow. I don't know why I'm trying to put it off until next week. I'm gonna see you tomorrow, content creators. Namaste. Welcome back to Chakras, the Spirit of Indigo, where we're about to wrap things up here. But before we do, I always have to give you the message of the day, all right? And what's the message of the day? ownership, all right? Go out there and get some ownership about yourself. I have 4 principles that I go over each and every show that allow you to get to ownership. And the first one is going to be paperwork, all right? We have to go out there and get that paperwork about ourselves. That way we can start to flourish. What type of paperwork would you like? I recommend getting an LLC if you do not have any idea on what kind of company you want to have or what kind of structure you want to build around your building. LLC stands for Limited Liability Corporation. That means you're going to pay the minimal amount of taxes, and everything's just a liability, all right? A limited liability at that. So that's the easiest one to get, very inexpensive. I live in Nebraska now at the current moment. It was only $100 for me to go and get mine. So if you do live in this area or surrounding areas, go out there and spend that $100, get your LLC. That way you can start a platform or a foundation, should I say, for a beginning generational wealth for your family, kids, and grandkids to come, all right? Step number 2 is going to be investments. Once you invest in yourself, I mean, that's everything from employees, time, equipment. Once you invest in yourself, then you begin to start seeing profits because you got the paperwork already. Now you're investing into the paperwork with the tangible things that help you manifest your dreams and your goals, all right? So definitely go out there, invest in yourself, because most of us do have a 9-to-5 job and a side hustle. Just put some of that money right back into the paperwork, right back into the research and development of your company. That way you can begin to start seeing the fruitions, or the fruition, should I say, of your dreams, all right, of that seed that you're planting. The third step is going to be group economics. We have to begin to practice group economics with the locals around us, the entrepreneurs around us, so we can begin to add some what I call significant value to them, all right? The only way this is ever going to work, that entrepreneur and this entrepreneur collaborating, is if they add mutualism, all right? Let's not get together and not know what we bring to the table. We all have to know our value, and then when we know our value, we can begin a beautiful relationship, all right? Remember, through the relationships that we value, we find our life purposes. That was step number 3. Step number 4 is going to be time management. Time management consists of budgeting and, not to mention, scheduling your time. That way you can buy back your time, all right? Financial freedom is one thing that people don't understand most of, but when you don't owe anybody and you're still making money, all that money's coming in is yours, all right? You don't have to, it's not going out. That leaves you more room to do step number 2, which is investment. You can invest more into your research and development, all right, once you bought back your time and bought back your financial freedom, all right? So I advocate those 4 principles: paperwork, investments, group economics, and time management. That's how you get to ownership, all right? I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in to the show, all right? I'm Indigo, a walking, breathing, living representation of the third eye in the flesh. So until next time, make sure you're out there practicing intuition, creativity, and not to mention imagination. Namaste.